Hello there. Welcome to my views and news. Welcome to the live chat session. Can you hear me, viewers? Thank you for responding with yes, a warm welcome to you. Busy day today. Several developments have happened within the last 24 hours. Big developments going to have regional consequences or regional impact, you can say. What is the current situation? Ethiopia, Somalia tensions, what is happening in Somaliland? What is the mood like in Somalia? And what about the Somaliland's president? Where is he now? What about Somaliland opposition? How is it reacting? But about opposition and government in Somalia, what is going to happen next? What will Somalia do? We'll try to find answer to these questions in this live chat. Secondly, another important development again, Ethiopia in the news, and that is from Addis Ababa, where rapid support forces and Sudanese civilian coalition called Takadam have reached a deal. Where is Sudanese military details for you in this live chat? Let me welcome the participants who have joined this live chat session. Bisrat Mengisto is the first one who has commented saying hello. Hi. Beware, second one, beware regular participant. My brother Daniel has joined too. Daniel Abate. Hele Goshu says, hello, brother. Hello, brother. Hele. Samuel Faleke says, greetings, brother. Greetings, dear Sajid Bhai. Welcome, Samuel Faleke. Mbisa Nail Kasate Solman, back after some time. I did not see him in some recent live chats. Abdisalam Masaya, Kor Dang joined as well today. Irmias Abdisa back. Abu Bakr Muhammad, Speed 5 participants joins regularly. Hele Goshu, hope you are feeling much better now. Yes, Hele, I'm feeling much better. Thank you. Hassan Abdullahi joined too, another regular viewer. Let's hope peace in the world, says Hassan. Yeah, Baka Garbi too. Baka welcome. Abdusalam Asayed, 3 and 3. Peace and love. Welcome, peace and love. In touch with me for years. Barak joined to Kinadid Garbo, David Kifyaleo, Yusuf Kabedid, very familiar name. SM, familiar name too. Daniel says, very high tension between Ethiopia and Somalia, big problem in East Africa. Yes, trustworthy. What do you think about response of the international community? Very relevant question. I'll speak on that. Sorry, Klaus knew a little late today. He's always the first or second to join. Welcome, Klaus New. Abdi Tahir joined after some time. Welcome, Abdi Tahir. RBK, VHFWE, Index Chikol, uh, Adam Muhammad Ibrahim, Blessing Channel, Old Man Lost, David Kifyaleo, Barak, Hidi, Hoba. They're looking forward to the update. Yes, Yusuf joined too. Pafamani Hida Macha, Yene Musica, regular participant. Antatios Tafira, DW Ethiopia, General Comsa, Tekle Mariam Asfao, Tisfalda Thabte, Chapier Liner, and others have joined too. I think I have mentioned almost all the viewers who have joined this live chat so far. Engeshom Photo 2. Warm welcome to you. Thank you for making these live chats possible. You help me a lot. Your participation matters a lot because that is how I respond to your questions, comments, and sometimes I have to research. I have to conduct research to be able to do live chats. So live chats are a good way of interactions between you and my views and news. Uh, well, I'll start once you say that I can start. Zeg Dagamavi says Somalia died more than 30 years ago. It will never come together ever. The people, Somaliland, do not want to be part of Somalia. Thank you, Muni, for this contribution. Welcome. Muni says it's ironic the Somalian ambassador used the future partially Somaliland on Ethiopian Airlines to fly back to Mogadishu. Yeah, it's ironic, by the way, that he used Ethiopian Airlines, but it's business. I think Ethiopian Airlines should not be brought into this conflict. We know the nature of relations between Ethiopia and Eritrea these days, but still, Ethiopian Airlines working, operating there. Let me start a little. Let me speak a little. I want to share a little roundup of the last 24 hours and two new developments in the last few hours. Then I'll read your comments. I'll take your questions too. Can I start now? Yes, Daniel, I will come to your question, Daniel, about international community, AU role, etc. Tizabi joined to welcome Tizabi. Okay, thank you for saying yes. Now, Ethiopia signed MOU with Somaliland yesterday. By the way, Somaliland's president is still in Ethiopia, I think, because today we saw his pictures, new pictures. Yesterday, he was seen with the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. He was welcomed by McConnell at the airport. And then the two PM and Musa Abdi, the president, signed the memorandum of understanding. Today, he was seen visiting some places. He visited a lake in Oromia, and he was seen holding a meeting with Oromo Abagadas. Oromo tribal elders reportedly played a key role in this memorandum of understanding. That is what I learned. They launched backdoor diplomacy. They visited Somaliland reportedly. They tried to find tribal connections there. So he was warmly welcomed in Oromia. He went to a lake there too. And interestingly, Musibai Abdi was accompanied by top security officials of Ethiopia when he visited some sites in Oromia today. Minister of Defense was there with him, Abraham Bale. Then Intelligence Agency Chief Damascus Terone was there too. Ridwan there too. Ridwan is National Security Advisor. So the main panel, main delegation which is accompanying Somaliland president is from security sector. What does it mean? Does it mean that they want to Ethiopian government officials, ministers want to assure Musibai Abdi that he is well protected, or there could be strategic defense cooperation between Ethiopia and Somaliland? It's not just Ethiopia is gaining access to a port. Rather, the cooperation is going to be defense and security cooperation too. It seems the way top security officials are accompanying Musibai Abdi, I think Musibai Abdi is going to be given some guarantees in Ethiopia that Ethiopia will be part of defense of Somaliland. It's a big development, by the way. So, yesterday, the memorandum of understanding was signed. And since last night, we have been seeing statements from Somalia's opposition leaders. Farmajo spoke. Then we saw that Sharif Sheikh spoke, former president. Hassan Ali Khaire, the former prime minister, spoke as well. Mohamed Hussein Roble, the former prime minister, spoke to all condemn the deal. They used very strong language against Ethiopia. saying that Farmajo said Ethiopia had greed for Somalia's territories, and Farmajo put pressure upon Hassan Sheikh to take a strong position. Then we saw that Al Shabaab also took a position. Ali Dire, Al Shabaab spokesperson, issued a statement condemning the deal, saying it will fight against this move by Somaliland and Ethiopia. And then an emergency meeting of Somalia's cabinet was held, chaired by Hamza Abdi Bare, the prime minister. And after that, Somalia announced the formal withdrawal of its ambassador to Ethiopia. Somalia has recalled its ambassador to Ethiopia, and Somalia issued a statement condemning the deal, saying not a single inch of Somalia will be given away. And then came the statement from Hassan Sheikh, the president, who addressed a joint session of two houses of the parliament. And there he criticized the prime minister of Ethiopia, saying, Meles Zinab intervened in Ethiopia and that gave birth to Al Shabaab. And now another opportunity is being given to Al Shabaab to reorganize. And that this is final, that Somalia's territory is not for sale, not a single inch will be given to anyone. By the way, interesting point is that I have been following all the statements of Somalia's government officials since last night. I have not seen a single statement condemning Somaliland. The MOU was between two parties, Somaliland and Ethiopia. But all criticism directed since last night had been against Ethiopian government, as if Ethiopian government alone signed the memorandum of understanding. I was monitoring the internal situation in Somaliland too, because last year we saw real tension, confrontation between Musi Abdi, the president who is in power, he's an extension, and opposition parties. Wadani and UCID protested against Musi Abdi, and protests went on. Government used force, protesters were killed. There was real tension between the two sides, but then the two sides reached an agreement about Musi Abdi's extension. And we were waiting for a response from the opposition in Somaliland. A few minutes ago, we got confirmation that Wadani, top opposition party of Somaliland, has welcomed the agreement, saying that Ethiopia is going to be a defense partner of Somaliland. It's a big development. It means that in Somaliland, both government and opposition are on the same page. I hope you're not, you don't find me boring. Let me explain a little, then I'll take your questions. So in Somaliland, there is consensus, it seems. I'm not sure about Sul Sanal region, where there is Lassanud, where there has been an uprising against Somaliland's government, but no protests against this deal in Somaliland. Either there is silence or there are statements in support of the memorandum of understanding. So this is what happened in Somaliland and what happened in Somalia. No statement against Somaliland. Somalia asked regional and international players to play their part. It asked African Union, it asked UN Security Council to call emergency sessions. And the session should be about this memorandum of understanding between the Ethiopian government and Somaliland's government. And Somalia's government is asking OIC, Arab League, to play their part as well. Though statements have been issued by Somalia's government, but we have not seen anything happen on the ground so far. Things will happen in coming days because 1 month remaining. In 1 month, this MOU will turn into an agreement. Agreement will be signed. Somaliland very excited because it is hoping to be recognized. And we must not forget the main problem for Somalia is that if the MOU is implemented between Ethiopia and Somaliland, Ethiopia will recognize Somaliland. I think establishment of Ethiopian military base in Somaliland or a port in Somaliland used by Ethiopia is not a problem, not a bigger problem for Somalia. Bigger problem, the biggest problem for Somalia is that Ethiopia is going to recognize Somaliland. So Ethiopia has not confirmed that, by the way. We have not seen a single statement from the Prime Minister, from Minister of Transport, from Ridwan about recognizing Somaliland. But Musi Bhai Abdi has made it clear that Ethiopia will recognize Somaliland as a country. This is the main problem for Somalia. Because if Ethiopia recognizes Somaliland as a country, it would be a huge blow to Somalia's stance about Somaliland. It means other countries will also follow suit. It means the international community might start recognizing Somaliland. That is why I think what is happening in terms of statements is not because of the establishment of a military base by Ethiopia in Somaliland, but it's because of coming developments. And I think obviously Ethiopia has given assurance to Somaliland, Musi Abdi, that it will recognize Somaliland. So this is the main point, main concern for Somalia's government. Now, international community, how is it going to respond? Well, so far, no statements, not a single statement from anyone. One viewer is saying that the party which welcomed the deal in Somaliland is UCID, not Wadani. I think Abdirrahman leads Wadani. Isn't it Abdirrahman who talked about future alliance with Ethiopia? Correct me if I'm wrong. International community will have to wait because we have not seen a single statement from African Union, from IGAD, from UN, from US, from EU so far. So we'll have to wait. Let's see what happens. African Union, will it take a strong position in support of Somalia? I doubt that. African Union is not known for taking very strong position in such disputes. Though some people are saying that what Ethiopia is doing, it could be a violation of African Union's charter, UN charter as well. It would be a violation if Ethiopia recognized Somaliland. Ethiopia has not said anything about recognizing Somaliland so far. The official statement from Ethiopian government does not make a mention of recognition of Somaliland. So far, we cannot say that Ethiopia has violated international norms and it is violating UN charter or African Union charter. But if Ethiopia decides to recognize Somaliland, then maybe African Union and other entities could be involved in this conflict. That is why maybe Ethiopia is silent. It is not confirming its possible recognition of Somaliland. So this is what happened in the last 24 hours or so. I think I've spoken a lot. Let me read some comments and take questions. Estefano says no single country recognized Somaliland because AU could not allow that. Well, by the way, I don't see AU a big player. African Union is not known for resolving conflict disputes in Africa. It only succeeded in Africa whenever it was backed by EU, US. And what did EU do? What did African Union do in Africa? So many coups in Africa. Coups in Mali, in Guinea, in Burkina Faso. What did Sudan failed coup? What happened? What did AU do? Nothing. So don't expect that AU would play a key role. It might issue a statement. Nothing more than that, I think. Hi, Sajid says Tegisti. Welcome, Tegisti. AU is for sale to the highest bidder. I won't say that, but I think I said what I meant. Sajid, why did Ethiopia recognize Eritrea as independence, but Somalia does not recognize Somaliland's independence? Perhaps not fair parallels, I think. When you talk about UAE, Cherry's point is very important. UAE, where does UAE stand? Obviously, UAE stands with Ethiopia, with Somaliland, not with Somalia. And unconfirmed information from today is that maybe in coming days, UAE and Ethiopia could upgrade their diplomatic presence in Somaliland. They might raise it to the level of uh, closer to an embassy, which would be a hint of recognition of Somaliland as a country by UAE and Ethiopia. It could happen reportedly. What Ethiopia and Somaliland are doing in terms of deal, obviously, UAE is backing this deal. UAE is behind this deal because UAE is already there in Somaliland at Berbera port. So UAE is a key player. Whether you call it a player or spoiler, now in the Horn of Africa, in East Africa, UAE is a big player. In Ethiopia, Somaliland, Sudan, Yemen, across the sea, UAE is there. Chad as well. Libya too. Daniel Abate says most of Somalia's official response was very hard, as if Ethiopia declared war on Somalia. Yes, and I think, Daniel, it's because of pressure on Somalia's government too. Pressure from two sides. Pressure from opposition parties, which want Hassan Sheikh to take a strong position. Maybe they want to weaken Hassan Sheikh government. And secondly, pressure from Al Shabaab. Al Shabaab has always been using Ethiopian military presence in Somalia as a propaganda point to rally the support of Somalia's people against Ethiopia. Now, this propaganda point will be used by Al Shabaab more. Al Shabaab will try to get new recruitments. Al Shabaab will try to attack Ethiopian territories. It will try to attack Ethiopian forces in Somalia. Uh, and Hassan Sheikh's government is under pressure from two sides, from Al Shabaab, from opposition parties. Can it get support from somewhere or not? I don't think that regional countries will take uh, clear sides in this issue so far. Will Eritrea openly stand with Somalia? Will Egypt stand with Somalia? That remains to be seen. So far, they are silent. Enter your name is asking the same. Vedi Engesom is asking the question about Egypt Somalia ties. Will Egypt stand with Somalia? Let's see. I think interests matter for countries. If Somalia uh, is attractive for Egypt in terms of protection of Egyptian interests, Egypt will stand. But what will Egypt do? I mean, what can these countries do to support Somalia? Of course, don't expect that Egypt will send its military to Somalia or Eritrea will send its military to Somalia. It won't happen. But they can form a sort of regional bloc to put pressure upon Ethiopia. Ethiopia is already part of a regional bloc as well. We already discussed the formation of two regional blocs in this part of Africa. Ethiopia, RSF, UAE, Somaliland, part of one bloc. Then Burhan, Isas Afwerki, Hassan Sheikh, and Al Sisi, part of the other bloc. So blocs have already been formed. Ethiopia is not alone, it has a few players on its side. Very important question from DW Ethiopia. What does the Somali region in Ethiopia feel about this new deal, especially the people in this region? Yeah, I think I'll have to check the temperature there. Uh, I see no problem there, by the way. They would welcome this deal. I think they would welcome it. But let me check the temperature there by getting in touch with people there. Yes, I missed this point, by the way. I could not talk to people there. I was mostly focused on Somaliland, Somalia all day today, and Ethiopian government officials and the visit of Muslim Abdi. Samuel is asking about the crisis in Ethiopia, what Ethiopian crisis in what it means for Somalia. Well, Somalia has a lot of its own crises to handle. I don't think it can exploit the internal conflicts in Ethiopia. It's not in a position, I think. It can only be play a role of a spoiler in Ethiopian conflict uh, if it gets support from other players, from other countries. Alone, I don't think that Somalia can be a big player in Ethiopia. Somalia can only use the Al Shabaab card. It can decrease the intensity of operation against Al Shabaab, give an opportunity to Al Shabaab to attack Ethiopia. That could happen. But even that is not in the interest of Somalia. Hassan Sheikh's government has recorded some achievements against Al Shabaab in recent operations. If pressure on Al Shabaab is relaxed, Al Shabaab is allowed to expand to enter Ethiopia, it wouldn't be in the interest of Somalia as well. So I think Somalia has very limited options. Johnny B. Good says, Sajid, are you happy with the payment you got from the UAE? I get payments from, I think I remember you criticized me and you said I was getting payments from TPLF and I was accused of getting payments from Ola, then Fano, then Isaha Sevoki, then Opposition, then CIA, then and now UAE. So uh, I don't need any payments, by the way. I can survive. I don't need a lot to survive, by the way. By the way, I traveled through UAE twice in the last 2 months, and I was thinking that I should be careful about traveling to the UAE. You never know about these Arab rulers. They have no regards for any international laws. DW Ethiopia says, will Djibouti make any move now? Because they will lose a lot of money from their port fees. Yeah, you're right. That Djibouti will be a casualty of this new decision made by Ethiopian government. Let me welcome a new member who has joined. Solo Bio has joined. He has become a member of the channel, intermediate level. Welcome, Solo Bio. I would request you to be a member of this channel. You can click the link in description section of this live chat video. In each video's description section, the first link given is that of membership page. Please be a member and hopefully we'll start member specific chats too. Welcome, Solo Bio. Djibouti has not made a move so far. What will Djibouti do? Djibouti has two options. Either it will attract Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not going to divert all its imports, exports from Djibouti at once. Gradually, Ethiopia will shift its business activities from Djibouti. I think Djibouti will have to be soft now. It will have to give relaxations to Ethiopia now. It will have to ensure that Ethiopia remains a customer. So I don't think Djibouti will take strong measures. It might operate in the background in alliance with Somalia. We must not forget Djibouti's Ismail Omar is a key ally of Hassan Sheikh now. I think Djibouti, Ismail Omar's daughter married a tribal leader in Mogadishu a few months ago. The tribal leader is an MP. He was head of Mogadishu police. He was fired by Farmajo. Later, he was reinstated. And he is from a very influential tribe, I think, around Mogadishu. So, Ismail Omar has connections in Somalia, and obviously he'll stand with Somalia, but I think he'll not take public positions. He'll try to woo Ethiopia. He'll try to ensure that Ethiopia gets some sort of relief, that Ethiopia continues using Djibouti ports. Yeni Musica says, Sajid, please stop responding to haters. One thing, Yeni Musica, let me mention one thing. Those who were my haters a year ago, 2 years ago, gradually they became my friends. There are hundreds, by the way. They were very critical of me. All day they used to write provocative comments against me. But over the years, they have learned that I am not on any agenda. I'm not being paid by anyone. I speak impartially. And now they're my friends. They're my sources. They rely on me. I rely on them. So haters are welcome to criticize me. Don't criticize other ethnic groups, other countries, other nations, other religions. Criticize me, I'm here. I'll handle your criticism logically. I'll address it. But I don't want people here criticize others. Yeah, Muni is one of them. Yeah, Muni, I know. And hundreds of others too, because I am in touch with them on different platforms, on WhatsApp with those who are members, those who are very close to me, on Twitter as well, through these live chats too, in comment section as well, through Facebook as well. So over the years, I have developed good ties with my haters. Now they're my friends. Solo, be your join. You don't have a proof your true nature as long as you continue to speak the truth. Thank you, Solo Bio. It must be cold where you are. T says yes. By the way, I think what has happened in the last 24 hours is going to make Horn of Africa more fragile in terms of peace and stability. Whenever there are agreements which are opposed by countries, opposed by entities, there are bound to be problems. It means that Ethiopia might be able to gain access to a port. Ethiopia might recognize Somaliland, but it will not lead to larger peace and stability in the Horn of Africa, in East Africa. Ethiopia should try to engage Somalia. And Somalia, I think, will have to learn to. Somaliland's unification with Somalia, maybe it's very difficult because the self-declared countries which are almost autonomous, they don't want to sacrifice their autonomy. It does not happen in most cases. And now Somaliland has regional players on its side, UAE here, to maybe US as well, Ethiopia. So I think Somalia will have to learn as well. I'm not saying Somalia should abandon its claim to Somaliland. I'm not saying that. But Somalia will have to learn that through issuing statements, it cannot achieve its objectives. Somalia is in a very difficult position internally, externally, relying on other countries. Its force is being trained by Eritrea. It is hosting Americans. It is hosting a Turkish military base as well. It will have to create unity inside. It will have to be a united country, a stronger country to implement its threats or warnings. But Hassan Sheikh said today, by the way, that Somalia is better today than yesterday. So maybe he was saying that Somalia is in a position now to respond to what Ethiopia is doing. Core David says, I am no one supporter of PP. I am in Ethiopia enjoying my life. What do you think you won't come? Samson said, do you think the US will become frustrated with Abi's unpredictable moves? No, no. I think the US might be a little relieved because when Abi spoke more than a month ago about access to the Red Sea, all analysts uh, predicted that it could lead to Ethiopia-Eritrea tension in the Red Sea. US was concerned. Already US and Houthis are fighting there. Houthis are hitting ships there. US does not want a new war between Ethiopia and Eritrea at this point of time. I have been saying no war is imminent between Ethiopia and Eritrea. People disagreed with me. I think US would feel relieved that now Ethiopia isn't going to uh, pursue military option to gain access to the Red Sea, as it has achieved its objective largely through this memorandum of understanding. I think US will back this agreement publicly or discreetly. That is how I understand the regional situation. Eritrea Pearl of Red Sea says, does this show Abi's incompetence? Well, what should Abi do, by the way? I mean, uh, Eritrea says it won't talk to Ethiopia. Djibouti, hiking port fees. Somalia, uh, maybe Somalia's ports are not very attractive for Ethiopia. So, what options does Ethiopia have? It will have to negotiate with Kenya or Somaliland. Only two options left, or Sudan. Sudan, you see what is happening there. Kenya will demand more, I think. Kenya is in a strong position. I don't think that Ethiopia can get a 50-year lease agreement from Kenya. So, possible options for Abiy, I think the best possible option was Somaliland or Djibouti. Had Djibouti agreed to sign this type of lease agreement, uh, and maybe in future, Abiy might continue his claims to Assab as well. But once Ethiopia starts using two ports, we could see Ethiopia add a port from Kenya too. That will lead to some. I think it will be better for Ethiopian economy. That Ethiopia will have more options in terms of handling of imports and exports. Triple C says, "Hi, my brother. It's my pleasure to be a part of your live session. Thank you, Triple C. Warm welcome to you." Cherry's question: does Somalia have any say for the coming agreement? Somalia is against the agreement, obviously. Question is, can it upset this upcoming agreement? Can it stop? Can it prevent this agreement? Michael Kidane, hi Sajid. Do you think China will sit idle between railway they build? By the way, what will China do? Uh, if you remember, uh, Taiwan has good ties with Somaliland, and the top delegation from Taiwan visited Somaliland. Taiwan unrecognized, like Somaliland is. So China has been opposing the visits of Taiwan's delegation to Somaliland. How will China see this development? Will it stand on Ethiopian side, or will it stand on Somalia side? Chinese are not known, by the way, for taking very public positions. They only take public position where US is involved. Once US is involved, Chinese, Russians are quick to take public positions. So maybe they'll remain silent, I think. No, Samuel, recognition of Somaliland by Ethiopia is not mentioned in the MOU. I have not seen that, by the way. If anyone has seen that, please do confirm. But I have not seen mention of recognition of Somaliland in the MOU signed. EAC, yeah, Yusuf's point very important. EAC will take a stance against Ethiopia. Let's see what EAC does. Somalia is a new member, new entry into EAC, East Africa Community. By the way, what did EAC do in Congo? In Congo, Rwanda is involved. Rwanda backing armed groups there. Uganda backing armed groups as well. So all intervening there. EAC could do nothing there. Don't expect a lot from these organizations, EAC, African Union. Somalia will have to make decisions on its own, I think. Magnetism says, what is RB smoking these days? One point, let me make a quick point before I start speaking about Sudan. How are Amhara groups supportive of Fano? They don't like when I call them hardliners. How are they seeing this development? They rejected PM Abi's narrative when PM Abi tried to rally public support for uh, a possible confrontation with Eritrea. They stood on Eritrean side. They ruled out the possibility of joining Abi in the war against Eritrea. So they're always against Abi. No matter what PM Abi does, these groups from Amhara are going to oppose it. And that is what happened. Just a few minutes before the start of this live session, I read a message, social media message from Andergacho Sege, the man behind a movement launched years ago. Then he had to go into exile. He was part of government's campaign when government launched military operation against Tigray. But when government started operation against Fano, then he turned against government. Yemen Zalake, Andrei Jusika criticized the Prime Minister today, and he said that it's a violation of African Union Charter, UN Charter as well. So what RB is doing is going to lead to regional instability, etc. So all pro-Fano elements are going to reject this MOU. They say that they are with Somalia, that this is an agreement between Oromoma activists and working for Oromoma and Somaliland. Ethiopians are not part of this deal, this MOU. But largely, I think I'll do a video tomorrow about internal reception to what Ethiopia has reached in terms of understanding with Somaliland. What are Ethiopian groups saying, Ethiopian region saying? How are they likely to respond? Magnetism, what did Comsa say? Why are you so angry with Komsa. I have not read Komsa's comment. Magnetism says Somalia should give recognition to Amhara nation. Well, I don't think that Amhara nation wants to be recognized as a country. I have not seen this call from any Fano group, any Amhara group so far. Alim Gizao has joined. Welcome, Alim Gizao, one of the members. Alim says, everything is happening so early. How could you get a feel for the internal reception? Too early to make these calls. Yeah, that is why I did not make any video today. But people are speaking. Tigray is silent, by the way, but people are speaking. So I'll do a video as soon as I get all the details. Solo video, how strong is Somaliland? It's not a question of how strong is Somaliland. Let me welcome Jelmaro, who is a new member. He joined the membership uh, today. Welcome, Jelmaro. I don't know what his real name is, but his screen name is Jelmaro. He said, do you see Somalia now possibly propping up rebel groups in Ethiopia? I don't think Somalia has this capacity, by it has only one trump card, that is Al Shabaab, but use of Al Shabaab against Ethiopia could be counterproductive. It would be a problem for Somalia as well. Somalia can intervene in Somali region of Ethiopia, but even there are issues, I think. Somalia's regional reach is limited, I believe. How strong is Somaliland was the question of Solobiyo. It's not a question of the strength of Somaliland. Somaliland is now an ally. The MOU signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland mentions security cooperation, defense cooperation. It means that if anyone tries to stop this upcoming agreement, Ethiopia will support Somaliland. It's a big development. That is why Abraham Ballet, Meskin Tirone, Ridwan, all from security sector are with Somaliland's president. And then obviously UAE is there as well. So Somaliland has found allies. Can Somalia find allies too? Not to the extent of statements, practical allies who are ready to stand with Somalia practically. This is the question now. 49 minutes have passed. Let me speak a little about Sudan views, then we'll end this live chat session. A big development from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia becoming relevant in Sudan. A meeting was held between Hamati and yes, Salam, it's a private company. Hamati and the Kadam, which is a civilian coalition in Addis Ababa. I think for several days, Hamati has been in Ethiopia now. He's using Ethiopia as a base. From Ethiopia, he went to Djibouti. I think he returned from Djibouti to Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, he's having meetings, reportedly with some UAE's officials too. In Ethiopia, he met with Abdullah Hamdok. Abdullah Hamdok is former Prime Minister of Sudan. He was put in a house arrest when in 2021 Al Burhan tried to stage a coup. Later, he was released, but he then uh, resigned. Reported, yeah, he resigned back then. Now, Abdullah Hamdok has held a meeting with Hamati in Addis Ababa. The two have reached a deal as well. Military, nowhere to be seen so far. Meeting between Hamati and Burhan is going to happen, hopefully tomorrow, reportedly, but not confirmed. Hamati says that it is ready to sign this deal with civilian coalition and Sudanese military should sign the same deal too. So military is being isolated in Sudan. Houthi has practically isolated military. Civilian faction, which is a form of FFC, is standing with Houthi. Maybe FFC has realized that Houthi is the new reality in Sudan. That is why FFC, Houthi have reached a deal. And Burhan, now what will he do? Houthi says that he will welcome if military sign the same deal as well. What is this deal about? The deal is about release of prisoners, one Sudan, respect for human rights, investigation into the atrocities committed, etc. But the deal means that military, civilian parties recognize the administration, the control of RSF in the areas where RSF is deployed. And in large parts of Sudan, RSF is in control. Will military recognize this presence of RSF in Sudan? That remains to be seen. So let's wait. But important point is that Ethiopia is now very relevant in Sudan. And Ethiopia has struck this MOU with Somaliland to Eritrea tried to isolate Ethiopia. To the extent of Eritrea, Ethiopia was isolated. But with some new moves, Ethiopia seems to have regained some regional clout, I think. Philmon Gibre says, considering how Abiy signed security deals with Eritrea and Somalia, but stabbed them in the back, Pano, would anyone think Abiy words or signatures mean anything? Yeah, uh, I think the three leaders signed a deal. Yes, you're right. In 2018, Abiy starts working from Majo from Somalia, but that was a type of MOU that could not turn into broader regional cooperation and integration. I think this time, what the two have signed is going to turn into broader bilateral defense economic cooperation. And this is a give and take relationship for both the countries. Somaliland will get more, maybe, in terms of recognition. Ethiopia will gain access to the sea. So there is something in it for both the countries. Why would Abiy go against this deal? Why would he violate it? Because he will lose access to the sea. It's a very strategic move by Ethiopian government. Important question from WTF. He says, what do you think will happen to Ethiopian peacekeepers in Somalia? Yes, I think they'll have to leave. They'll have to leave, I think. They'll be in danger there from attacks from Al Shabaab, maybe local people as well. So they'll have to leave gradually, I think. So Lobiyo says, off this topic, do you know Djibouti used to belong to Ethiopia? Well, if you go back a few hundred years, the entire map of Africa was different. Let's not go back. Why is magnetism so angry today? Magnetism, what happened? Enoch Michael says, hello Sajid, I think Ethiopia should have negotiated with both Somalian governments, taking into consideration Somaliland is a self-declared country. Yes, ideally it should have happened, I think. Ideally, Ethiopia should have consulted Somalia. It should have tried to explore options. But Problem is that new regional alliances are emerging. As I mentioned earlier, the two regional camps have emerged now. Maybe Somalia was not responsive to Ethiopia. Somalia is at the other camp. But I agree that Ethiopia should have explored all the options if it did not. Thank you for this contribution, Omar Ijerse. Welcome, Omar Ijerse. Magnetism says it's just under hot air, just like Pretoria. Yeah, but it will be clear in just a few days because it is just an MOU. It has no legal value so far, but the two will sign a deal in coming days. If deal is signed, it means it's something concrete. It's not just hot air. Bachagarb is asking about Eritrea. Hello, Sajid. Do you think Eritrea lose or gain that they wouldn't talk to Ethiopia on Red Sea? Well, if you remember, I said that Eritrea should talk to Ethiopia. I proposed that, by the way. I said that use of Assab by Ethiopia is in the interest of both countries. Eritrea is already an isolated country in terms of economy, in terms of progress. It should have talked to Ethiopia. It should have welcomed Ethiopian attempts to gain access to the sea, but it should have negotiated on its own terms. I was not saying that Eritrea should give away Assam to Ethiopia, but Eritrea has lost a business opportunity. Now the business is going to Somaliland. If you remember, I said Eritrea should behave like a businessman. It should talk to Ethiopia about this business deal. It's a business deal. No need to be very emotional about territorial integrity, sovereignty. Get something for your people. If you start getting a few hundred million US dollars annually, it can change. It can bring about change in some parts of your country. Eritrea was not willing to listen. It formed a regional alliance with Somalia and other countries. Somaliland, I think, took advantage of the situation it offered, and it is getting something in return as well. Jay says, Sajid, do you think Abiy will now gain more support from Amhara? You people are asking very important questions today, by the way. I'll address these questions hopefully tomorrow or in coming videos because almost 1 hour has passed. Solo says, do you do any other analysis on Africa? Well, covering Ethiopia, even covering Ethiopia alone is very difficult. So to cover other parts of Africa, I need more time, which I don't have for now, by the way. I am not covering Somaliland too. I'm not covering Somalia too. I'm mainly covering Eritrea and Ethiopia. And even this is very hectic for me. Beware says, I am Amhara and I support for port. Viewers, 1 hour has passed. I think we should end this live chat session. Two people became new members today. They joined My Views and News. Being a subscriber is different. Being a member is another level. I would request you to be a member of the channel. You can be a member of the channel by clicking the link in description section, which mentions that how to be a special member of the channel. Gradually, we'll start member specific live chats, messages, and videos as well. Thank you for joining this wonderful live chat session. Today, I have been busy. I did 3 videos, one live chat because of this rising of tension between Ethiopia and Somalia. I am following it. I'll try to keep you updated. I would request you, if you find anything which I'm not covering, do get in touch with me through my email, sajid67200gmail.com. You can find the email in description section of the live chat and videos as well. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow in the next live chat session. Stay blessed. Bye bye. Don't forget to eat injera, says RBK. I cannot find injera here. Bye bye.